Hello and welcome back to the Bookshelf Odyssey. My name is Art, your friendly neighborhood bookworm, and today I'll be wrapping up Christmas. But mostly I'll be talking about a wonderful Christmas cozy that I read this past week that I wanted to talk about. So today's kind of a sad day as we look forward to this weekend, the first full weekend in January. We'll probably be taking down our Christmas decorations, so I'll have to say goodbye to the tree here. But I can keep this tree up here in the attic. No one will know about it, right? Well, I hope you had a good Christmas. I sure did. I got, I think 7 or 8 books for Christmas, which was a nice haul. One I was really excited about was one called Victorian Christmas by Lucinda Huxley, who is the great-granddaughter or great-great-great-great-great-great-granddaughter who has some connection there to Charles Dickens, and she writes about Victorian Christmases, the games they played, the stories they read, the traditions they followed, and it was a lot of fun to read. One of the other gifts I got, I was pretty excited about, and I got a Kindle Fire, and as you can see, I've already decorated it with some bookish stickers, as is appropriate. I've had a Kindle. It was really starting to wear out, and I didn't like it as much. I don't even remember what kind, but it just didn't feel like I was reading a book. What I liked about the Kindle Fire is I can use the Kindle app, and it feels like a book. It's about a book size. So I've already noticed that I have more patience reading text on this than I would even my Kindle, or I hate reading on my phone. The screen is just too small, and in case you hadn't noticed, I've got bifocals now, and reading is getting harder the older I get. Anyway, I think it's going to meet my needs. I'm going to definitely try it out this year. I deleted off all the apps I didn't really want on there because I'm going to be primarily using it for reading. I've got my Libby app on there as well. Hopefully I can get to a library that has Hoopla that will allow me to have a membership, and that will really open up some digital reading as well as audiobook. But anyway, I had a wonderful Christmas vacation. I had the week off from work between Christmas and New Year's, and I really think if you can at all manage to do that, that is a wonderful time to have off of work. Someday, if I'm ever president, I'm going to declare that week between Christmas and New Year's a national holiday. Now, that will probably tank the economy and cause disruptions of all kinds and cause all sorts of problems down the road. Who knows? But it's just a great time to rest, to refresh yourself heading into the new year, and whatever may come in 2025, I'm ready for it. So ready as I'll ever be, I guess. But okay, let's talk about this book I read. It's a cozy mystery, part of the Mrs. Claus mystery series, and it's called Mrs. Claus and the Nightmare Before New Year's. Kensington sent me an advanced reader copy of that earlier this year, which I'm very grateful for, but I didn't get a chance to even read it until Christmas. And I deliberately waited because I like to read her books in the time of year that it takes place. I don't always try so hard to do that, but it really works for Liz Ireland's books. And if you've listened to my podcasts or followed me on this channel, you know that this is one of my favorite cozy mystery series. And I guess, in spoiler alert already, this is probably my favorite one out of the whole series so far. And I didn't go into the book expecting that, because it takes place shortly after Christmas. It starts off on Christmas Eve and then goes on for a few days. And I mean, on one hand, this was really my least favorite time of year. I hate post-Christmas time. So I was hoping that the joy and charm and coziness of the Mrs. Claus mystery series would help me through that darker time, and it certainly did. It was a wonderful read. And so I should say that although I had a reader's ARC version, I went ahead and bought the Kindle copy of it so I could take it on my vacation. it saves room in your luggage for buying new books while you're out of town. And that's definitely what I did. I came home with a couple of bags of books to read this year. I'm really looking forward to. But all right, book nerd problems aside here. The Mrs. Claus Mystery Series, if you're not familiar with it, is set at the North Pole in a place called Santa Land. And it follows the main character, Mrs. Claus. Her name is April Claus. And in the first book, April marries a man named Nick, who turns out to be, you got it, Santa Claus. So the first book is really a fish out of water story where April Claus is at the North Pole for the first time. She's trying to learn her role as Mrs. Claus. It's set up, the hierarchy there is set up very much like a Downton Abbey kind of atmosphere. Her world building is just top notch. The atmosphere, the stores, the different characters you meet in the story, it has just such a wonderful cast of wacky characters that include elves, talking reindeer, and talking snowmen, who are probably some of my favorite characters. And it's just crazy enough without being, veering far into the realm of parody, that it's yet still grounded in reality. It's a real delicate balance, and Liz Ireland nails it just about every time. Another thing I love about this series as a whole is that though cozy mysteries tend to be something you could see as kind of a quick read, if you want something to read for a day or two and you can get it finished off pretty quickly, especially if you have an audiobook, that seems to be acceptable for that, or it's kind of designed for that. What I love about her books is that they almost invite you to not do that, to slow down, to revel in the world's details without overwhelming you with details. I don't know how she does it, but it's a good balance. And I love that I know I can pick up a Mrs. Claus book and just be invited in to Santa Land to slow down and to read and enjoy the world and the characters, along with a really good mystery as well. So what is the story about? It says, after Santa departs for his Christmas Eve deliveries, an elf pulls into Santa Land with 3 people he found lost in the frozen wilderness. The survivors of a scientific expedition are injured, but their presence endangers the future of Santa Land. So while the strangers recuperate, Mrs. April Claus convinces Christmas Town to pull off its grandest, most magical feat yet: pretend to be normal. Posing as an Arctic touristy Christmas town, the elves cover their ears, snowmen keep silent, and the reindeer stay on the ground. But as New Year's Eve draws closer, hiding their true selves becomes harder to do, especially when one of the uninvited guests dies under highly suspicious circumstances. With a murderer in their midst, April must uncork a culprit before any old acquaintances be forgot forever. All right, and that's what the book is about. This book is probably the funniest of the series so far, and the funnest, and a really interesting mystery. I love how there is a lot going on in this novel. That Liz, she lays out all these mysteries that are going on, things that I had questions about, like, who were these 3 strangers that they found in the snow, and why were humans found so close to Santa Land? And why were they there? What were they looking for? Why was the one man murdered? Who did it? Was it one of the other 2? Was it somebody else in Santa Land? There's some other mysteries that go on, such as for a while, Santa seems to have disappeared on his trip, and that has caused April some worry. The reindeer are getting sick, and I was wondering, did that have something to do with the plot, or is that a red herring, or what? And even a fun question, like, how can a snowman get drunk? Which is a scene in the book. One of my favorite scenes of the series actually happens later on in the book with a drunk snowman and one of the humans. And I won't say more than that because there's spoilers. But what I love is Santa Land's attempt to try to be normal, and they're anything but. The elves try to hide their ears, but they're still short of stature. The snowmen and the reindeer sometimes forget they're not supposed to talk. One of the humans thinks that maybe they're going crazy because he swears, I think I just heard a snowman talk, and everyone thinks he's gone crazy. And I love the way that Liz Ireland is able to masterfully weave these cozy mystery elements together to really write a compelling story that is just a lot of fun to read. It was a great way to end the year of reading and start a new year of reading. I read about half of it before New Year's Day and then finished up the other half after I got home. And another point of humor in the book is, one of the things they try to pass themselves off as Canadian with some pretty funny results. So they keep playing music instead of Christmas music. They'll play music by Canadian singers, and so basically you have Celine Dion singing the same song over and over and again and driving the people in the hospital crazy. Things like that, just really lighthearted humor. The mystery itself I thought was a real interesting one. That drive of what were these people doing so close to Santa Land, and how did they find out about it? Did they find out about it? And what is it that they're searching for? And it wasn't what I thought. So that was good. The murder mystery itself does get resolved well. The final clue comes fairly quickly there at the end, but otherwise the clues are laid out there. The suspicion for the whodunit, I think, was there, and I didn't guess the culprit at all, which, again, I don't have a good track record of that, but it was a good mystery in that sense. And then I know some will ask, can you read this series out of order? You can, but why must we be barbarians like that? Okay. This one does have a little bit of a plot point from the last book that carries over, involving April's friend and Jake Frost, who is Jack Frost's relative. He's from the frozen north. That is an area that I find to be very mysterious, and Liz Ireland writes it, I think, deliberately that way. I would love to explore that area that Jake Frost comes from, because a lot of it is just, it sounds very cold and frozen and rugged and dangerous. I think it would be fun to head up there sometime. But it's also fun to kind of keep it shrouded in mystery as well. So yeah, it wraps up real nicely. And like any good book, it leaves you wanting more. So if you like a good cozy mystery with a fresh approach in a fresh setting, this book will hit all those boxes for you. Now, Mrs. Claus does have a new novella coming out I believe it's out already. So the book is called Irish Soda Bread Murder, and it takes place over St. Patrick's Day. And so it's called Mrs. Claus and the Sinister Soda Bread Man. And April Claus goes back to her hometown with 3 Christmas elves in tow. So that should be a delight, and I can't wait to read it this year. All right, that'll do it for me. I hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas time. I hope you got some good reading in, as well as time with friends and family. Let me know in the comments what you have been reading for Christmas, or maybe some books you got for Christmas. I'd love to see what you have. And so until next time, take care and happy reading.